You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Den sig knappt framgången i ett genceleri.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Angry Marks Rewind podcast here on AngryMarks.com, your number one source for pro wrestling and mixed martial arts news and information. I am Rowan Unruh. Follow me on Twitter at Rowan Unruh. We are going to be joined by Mike Poulin in just a moment, and we have a fun show ready to go. So sit back, relax, and we will be back in just a moment. We are back, and once again, my co-host for this week, none other than my partner, Magic Mike Poulin. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing good this afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Monday afternoon. I'm still at home. I'm it's an uneventful weekend as far as pro wrestling goes.
I've got an eventful week coming up for pro wrestling.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch any of the show on Friday? The show that shan't be named.
I saw the first 5 matches, I think. Because then I went to my mom's for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone back and watched the rest. But it seems like it fell apart around, the finals and then didn't recover.
Yeah, I watched the main event tag, and I watched the Lesnar match, and I caught the last 2 minutes of that stupid fucking tournament with Shane McMahon, and quick thoughts. It was a complete disaster of a show, I thought.
Well, of course, yes.
It was super forced. The tag match looked just 4 guys in their 50s doing old man spots, and it was depressing.
They did not need to do this show at all.
The funniest part for me is going on Twitter afterwards, and okay, I'm going to rant a little bit about about WWE Twitter fans.
Is it going to be the same thing that I was going to say about WWE Facebook fans? Because it's probably about the same.
Yeah, so if you just indulge me for just a second, these people that go online on Twitter and rant that Lesnar won the title, and they're mad at WWE for them putting the belt on someone they don't like. What happened to the days where we got mad at the heels, not mad at the company? Now, I understand that the curtain has been drawn back so much that we no longer know, or we no longer acknowledge good guys and bad guys. We just acknowledge the company. But these people that are going off because the guy that they didn't want to win won, and then
the guy who they didn't want to win, but draws more money than anybody on the current roster.
But yeah, the guy that they don't want to win, but is the most legitimate athlete on that roster. He wins at a show that it's probably not going to, it's probably going to have less viewership than most of their other pay-per-views. And now they're saying, oh, I hate WWE because they put the title on Lesnar. I'm going to cancel my subscription. These people that go ranting and raving about canceling their WWE networks, if you're going to cancel it because of the fact that they did a show in Saudi Arabia with the murder investigation, all that stuff, that I understand. I don't have.
If they're going to cancel it because Brock won,
right?
Fuck you.
That is stupid. If I'm watching an NFL game and the Packers are losing, am I going to get mad at the NFL and say, fuck you, NFL. What I want isn't happening. I'm going to cancel my NFL network.
Well, to be fair, we had that incident with NFL last year where the guys didn't stand up for the national anthem here.
That's completely different, though. I'm talking about specifically, canceling your service because the product that is being presented to you is not something that you like. The on-screen product.
Yeah.
Politics aside, the whole kneeling situation, that's completely separate. I understand why people don't want to watch NFL because of that. There are people on this very Angry Marks podcast network that do shows with Stevie J that don't watch the NFL strictly because of things like that. But the fact that people are ranting and raving that Brock Lesnar won the championship on this show, they get mad at the company. Fuck off. Grow up a little bit.
So the thing is, it's phony outrage for something, and I see the same thing on Facebook. I'm going to cancel my network, and I'm going to cancel because, and I'm going to do this and that, and I'm not going to watch on Monday. I'm like, fuck you, yeah, you're going to watch on Monday. You're going to be back.
When I watch This Is Us every Tuesday, and something on that show happens that makes me upset, and there's a lot of stuff on that program that could make a person upset, I'm not going to get mad at NBC. That's right. Stupid. Anyways.
Anyway,
we have a theme developing here. This program today is brought to you by the number 11. It is currently 11 Angry Marks. It's November, so we thought we're in Survivor Series season. We're going to go back episode 11 in the 11th month of 2011, and we're going to talk the Survivor Series 2011 from New York City. And
the last pay-per-view to ever be from Madison Square Garden. And no, I don't count the one that they did that was the house show from Madison Square Garden a few years ago.
Have they not done a pay-per-view there since?
No, because the people who own the building jacked up the rent price, I guess, or something. Even though Ring of Honor is going to be running there in April.
Yeah, I was just going to say, ROH was able to secure a date, much to Vince's chagrin.
Yep.
So
anyway, this was an interesting show, especially to go back and watch now.
Yeah, this show, it seemed at the time to be completely inconsequential. However, everything on this show was basically just a commercial for the WrestleMania main event coming in about 6 months. So they introduced the show. They said there was 16,749 fans, 16749. I don't know if that's a legit sellout or not. They did an opening video montage of Survivor Series history, including
Flow Rider.
Oh God! How many times did we hear that fucking song on this show?
Or throughout the build up to WrestleMania 28.
Like I like that song, but it was shoved down your throat so much here. So
it's shoved down your throat so much that you hate it. It's like that Kid Rock All Summer Long song from I want to say 08, where they played it all the time. Mm-hmm. And there was even a pay-per-view theme for one of the pay-per-views in 08.
So it takes Michael Cole less than a minute to get his facts screwed up when he says it's the 25th anniversary of Survivor Series. No, it's not. It's the 25th Survivor Series. That would make this the 24th anniversary. That's how anniversaries work. I should know. I've had 19 of them.
I was going to say, yeah, because wrestling fans don't know how to count.
I understand it's a nice tagline or catchphrase. Say it's the 25th anniversary. No, it's not. They could have done this. They could have used that same line next year. But because Rock is coming back, they want to give it a little bit of an extra spin. So they tell us all a blatant lie.
It would be the 15th anniversary of The Rock's debut.
Right. So we've got Michael Cole, King, and Booker on the announce team. What did you think of Booker on this show?
Booker T is I like Booker T as a wrestler, but as an announcer, he's just not good.
He had a couple of gems on this show, so
he's better than Coachman in Coachman's Overturn, but that ain't saying much.
That's a pretty low bar. So the show starts out with the executive VP of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis, coming out to the crowd, and all he says is, this is not only the 25th anniversary of Survivor Series. Wrong. It's also the 10th anniversary of me working here. Enjoy the show.
Wow.
And that's it. This took a minute of time, and it was completely meaningless. It didn't lead to anything.
John Laurinaitis with his voice that sounds like he's like a lifelong smoker.
Dude's got emphysema.
Put down the pipe. And we start off the show with Dolph Ziggler and John Morrison. This is Morrison's last match in WWE, I think.
I know that it was his last major pay-per-view title match. They kind of took him out after this. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot that Justin Roberts was announcing, and I forgot how much I hate him.
He's I know a lot of people like him. He's not like, I like Finkel and Chimmel, and of course on WCW, like we had a couple weeks ago, I like Capetta. Those are my 3 favorites.
Every time he would announce John Cena and the WWE
Championship. Yeah. I like the guy that does the ring announcing now, Hamilton. Greg Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. The guy that he was the NXT announcer for a while.
And I think Mike Rome, who does house shows from time when they're around here. Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway.
I know Justin Roberts has been there forever, and I know he's very popular with a lot of the wrestlers, but I couldn't stand him.
He's not good.
So Cole says that Morrison getting a title shot is not fair, even though Morrison beat Ziggler already in a non-title match. Ziggler came.
He had a forever long losing streak, and he wins one match and gets a title shot.
Right, but if that one win is against a current champion, why not?
That's fine. That's good. That's booking.
So Ziggler came out with Vicky Guerrero, who's an absolute heat magnet, and Ziggler is doing double duty.
I miss Vicky.
Vicky was awesome.
Yes.
But immediately, the crowd already tells people that they're already not interested in this match. They want Zack Ryder.
I never got the Ryder push, by the way. I never got it.
I understand why people really liked him, especially this crowd, because he's a New York guy. But Cole claims that he had the most signed petition in the history of Twitter to get a U.S. title shot. And
I want to see that petition. I want proof.
I tried to find it. I tried going through all the annals of research and things of that nature. I could not find any truth to the indication that this is a fact. So.
Michael Cole lying again. What a shock.
Are you implying that a wrestling company is lying to its fans?
Never.
So this crowd is completely they didn't care about either of these guys. They were cheering Ziggler a little bit just for some of high spots. They were only cheering I don't know. So Ziggler gets the early advantage with a fantastic looking drop kick. And he starts taking control of the side headlock. Crowd's already chanting boring. Morrison counters another drop kick with a slingshot in the corner, and Ziggler does the Mr. Perfect ring post bump and gets clotheslined to the outside.
Be careful, Ziggler. That's how Perfect lost all his titles.
That's how he lost his very first match. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Trivia?
WrestleMania 6.
Ah, very good. Rain Man.
Who did he lose to?
Brutus the fucking Barber.
Yes.
Morrison hits a spinning plancha to the outside, and Vicky is screaming at Morrison, "What do you think you're doing?"
He just hit a move.
I'm participating in a wrestling match.
Booker says he does a lot of fancy moves, but I want to see him in a real fight. Well, you're in the wrong sport for that.
Ziggler retakes the advantage as Morrison re-enters the ring. Cole mentions that Ziggler's college credentials, and Booker comes right out and just asks him straight up, well, how does that help him in the ring? Good question, my book.
Oh, yeah, he's allowed one per show.
Right. Director felt the need to do a slow-motion replay of a hair pull takedown. Ziggler hits a reverse power slam out of the corner for 2. Morrison comes back with some clotheslines and a neck breaker. Crowd is just booing both guys. They don't care about anything. Morrison hits his version of a disaster kick for a near fall. Both guys exchange sleepers. Morrison hits a DDT near the ropes, but Vicky pulls Ziggler's foot on the ropes. So she's squealing at the ref, and Charles Robinson throws her out. This is the only thing that gets the crowd going, and now she's making sounds that only dogs can hear.
Oh, God.
Ziggler hits a Faymaster for a 2. Ziggler attempts the zigzag. Booker, all throughout this match, he keeps referring to him as the Zigzag Man.
He's a younger British beefcake, and he's going to get about 70 different gimmicks.
The Zig Man, and there was one other person that he called. We'll get to it. So Ziggler attempts the zigzag. Morrison holds onto the ropes. Ziggler takes the back bump. Morrison tries the Starship Pain, but Ziggler gets the knees up. Ziggler hits the zigzag and then gets the clean win at 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Vicky comes.
Good opener.
Yeah, it was a fun opener. Vicky comes running back 3 minutes after being ejected to give. What
was the point of ejecting her when the next move was Ziggler hitting the zigzag and winning?
My only guess is that this crowd was so dead for this match that the ref decided, maybe we need to get a pop from this crowd. So ejecting Vicky was probably the best thing they could have done.
And then a couple minutes later, Ziggler hits the zigzag and wins.
Yeah. So
rendering that pointless. He didn't need Vicky to win.
Dolph gets on the mic and said he's backing up all of his bragging. Crowd is drowning him out with "We Want Ryder" chants.
Oh, shut up.
Finally, Ryder's music does hit, and the crowd goes insane. He bolts in, gets beat up really quickly, but then Ryder gets in a few shots, hits the Rough Rider, and Dolph bails. This is the only appearance of Ryder, and they made this poor bastard come to the building, get in his gear, to do a 60-second run-in.
You couldn't even put him in the elimination match that we'll talk about later instead of Mason Ryan. You couldn't have just made a quick switch.
This match in a bubble was fine, but the crowd didn't care about either guy. They booed Ziggler because he's feuding with Ryder, and they booed Morrison because he wasn't Ryder. Possibly they could have made this a better match had they made it a three-way.
But then you would have killed the crowd more by having Ziggler win beat Ryder and Morrison in the first match.
Well, Ryder on the next pay-per-view would get a U.S. title shot, so...
And he would win the U.S. title.
Quit your whining, New York.
You just have to wait another month.
We get a group of scantily clad women all coming out to be lumberjills for the next match. Unlike at Evolution, they did not all get their own entrance music, thank God. They just
came out the Kelly Kellys.
Yeah, and she led the way for all the B team girls and some, M team girls. Like
the double D team girls.
Like Oksana and Maxine. I have no idea who she was.
Oksana was the one who hit on Teddy Long endlessly for like a year.
What's your favorite Maxine match of all time?
I don't know if I've ever seen any Maxine matches.
What's your favorite pole match?
None of them.
We get the Divas title on the line. Eve Torres challenging Beth Phoenix, who comes out with Natalya. Beth with arguably the worst music in the history of all music, not just in wrestling, but in the history of recorded sound. Eve tries a crossbody, and Beth catches her in midair and just kind of drops her. Eve then trips her, lays in some kicks to the chest, and then twerks. So I wholeheartedly approve of this.
Shucky ducky.
I thought Eve was absolutely adorable.
I love Eve. I don't know why she didn't make it further.
I'm sure she could have if she wanted to.
They needed a wrestler named Adam, so they could have done Adam and Eve.
They could have signed Henry Gracie.
Yeah.
So Beth tries to bail, but all the girls throw her back in. Eve hits a standing moonsault. Natalya and the Bellas get some cheap shots in. Beth locks on.
Cry! Cry! Cry!
Beth locks on the devastating chin lock. Eve comes back with some kicks and a cradle that sends Beth into the middle turnbuckle. Beth attempts the glam slam, but Eve counters with some type of reverse triangle, since, she's a jiu-jitsu expert.
Was she going for like an octopus or the Black Widow that AJ Lee would use later on?
Something like that, but it failed because I think Beth kind of collapsed and she couldn't maintain control of the hold. So they exchange roll-ups. Eve goes to the top for a moonsault attempt, but Eve cuts her off, but Beth cuts her off. Beth climbs to the top. They stay there for ages, and the net result is Beth hitting a glam slam from the top rope for the win at 4 minutes and 35 seconds to retain the butterfly belt.
Yeah.
King calls Beth unstoppable, but Booker goes, I think she's unbeatable.
And King says she's unbearable. Cole calls her unstoppable. Booker calls her unbeatable. King calls her unbearable.
Let's fucking argue about adjectives.
Well, they need something to argue about, I suppose.
Look at the adjective. Play.
I ain't here to play.
Yeah. So the Lumberjills, aside from that one spot, really there was no point of them coming out there. They didn't play into the finish at all. This didn't lead to anything else. But
you could have used them in another match.
But that's what Divas Wrestling was in 2011.
Yes, you just have them in one spot and then... Oh, Evolution.
We cut to the back where CM Punk is just standing there, and he's trying to conjure up magic with his wrists.
He's Merlin.
He's got his hands clenched, and he's moving them around like Vanderlei Silva. And this I just hit the mic. This brings in David Otunga, who is bringing Punk a message from John Laurinaitis. And he says, Punk, you unlawfully attacked Michael Cole on Raw, causing, quote, intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is true. That did happen. It was an assault and battery, even in the confines of pro wrestling, but Punk comes back with a solid argument. He says, hey, we're in Madison Square Garden, and Cole got what he deserved. I'm going to remember that line next time I feel the need to just attack someone.
And see what it gets you.
So Otunga says Punk needs to apologize to Cole before he competes, and Punk says, I'll think about it. He mocks Otunga's bow tie and then leaves. Then we had the best part of the show. We cut to a close-up of Rock's tattooed arm. They pan out slowly.
A giant bicep.
And he's it's The Rock. He's got the microphone in hand, and he's standing in his finally position. And I like to think that he's been standing there in that pose for a couple minutes now, and people are just walking past him and asking him, hey, Rock, what's up?
I can't say anything yet.
He's like, go away. I'm waiting for my cue. So
don't distract me. I might have ADD.
So he cuts a promo on MSG, talking about watching his grandpa fight Billy Graham for the title, hanging out with Andre, I hung out with Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant. This gets a big pop. He makes his debut in this building, despite having a hideous costume and the worst music and the worst haircut, and they still chanted The Rock's name. Now, I watched his debut. They didn't do any chanting of his name, but they did mock him a lot.
No, they chanted his name a few months later, but there was a couple other words before and after it.
The Rocky, the.
No.
If you're German.
Yes, or Sideshow Bob.
So he runs through all of his catchphrases, including Do You Like Pie? He goes through all the titles he's won. Finally, Rock has come back to New York City. Crowd loved every second of this.
Sing Sinatra.
He cut a promo on Miz and Truth. He addressed Cena, and the crowd turns. He says he's going to shoot lightning up your ovulating lady parts.
Oh, boy.
You can tell that no writer would have ever come up with that.
Unless Brian Gewirtz is backstage somewhere.
His personal writer, eh?
Yeah.
So he starts singing Sinatra. The crowd sings along. This crowd
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
Oh, so no, I was just going to let you finish.
I can't remember the rest of it.
I want to be a part of it.
New York.
I think we found our calling. We're taking this on the road.
Either that or I was going to sing the Jay-Z Alicia Keys one that they use in 2009 at the Garden, which I don't know the words to.
It's New York.
That one, yes. Empire State of Mind.
Anyways, this crowd would have bought a ticket to see Rock do anything for just 2 hours. So
I would have bought a ticket for that.
So it was a good way to fire up this crowd. It's been kind of dead for the first 30 minutes of this show. In his heyday, Rock was arguably one of the best promos in wrestling. During this time frame, with the exception of maybe Punk and Cena, there really were no great promos in the company, so this made Rock look like an absolute god. So
Miz hadn't gotten there yet.
The seeds were being set for him.
Yeah. He wasn't there yet. He would be there in a few. He would be there after he had that horrible face run and turned heel again.
Mm-hmm. So it's at this point that I started having all kinds of streaming issues, long buffering. I don't know why. I guarantee there was no one else on the earth that was watching this show at the same time I was. So what the hell?
Just in time for the Survivor Series match, which you talked about the crowd being into the Rock's promo. I'm pretty sure you probably killed them with this match, even though you have some good guys here. It's just the eliminations. There's a reason they don't do a lot of elimination matches at Survivor Series anymore. They don't do the full Survivor Series elimination card anymore.
And that's been getting a lot of heat the last couple of years. And I don't know why, because in some of those earlier Survivor Series matches, the eliminations were just happening boom, 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 boom.
The worst ones are those, like the ones from 87 and 88 that have all the tag teams for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they're just like lined up all along the apron. There's no space in between.
Even Bruce Pritchard is like, we can't, like, explaining that they couldn't get camera shots, and yeah.
I can understand that. I want them to bring back the grand finale match.
Now, see, that would be something. They should have done that 80. They should bring that back. But yes, on the teams here we have Wade Barrett, Jack Swagger, Hunico, Ziggler, and somebody else.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody, yes.
Without Brandy.
And they're facing Randy Orton, Sheamus, Mason Ryan, who's probably subbing for somebody, Kofi Kingston, and who was the fifth on the other side?
Orton.
No, I said Orton.
Sin Cara, Kofi Kingston, Mason Ryan.
And Orton and Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus and Orton.
Right, and then, I'm pretty sure, this might be one of those times that Seidel got, injured or got caught with stuff that he shouldn't have had, because I'm sure he would have been in this match instead of Mason Ryan.
I think that was the case, because he and Kofi were tag champs at the time.
Yes.
And, he's not the only person on this show that would get busted for some illegal.
Kofi would. Maybe.
Well, one of our main eventers would. But we'll get to that in a second. So Wade Barrett comes out. He looks, and it's weird because he's clean shaven, and he looks.
Hold on, I got someone knocking at the door.
Oh God. Waiting for a mic. Take a drink.
Yeah.
So.
I'm in the middle of something. I know you're on the phone.
Wonder who's at the door. What if it's the UPS guy? Wait for Mike. Get in the door.
Smells like coffee. Probably an hour?
Yeah.
Hey, that's not how you close the door. That's not how you...
It's a lady friend.
Stand. Breathe.
Okay.
We're not editing this out. High five.
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
You had someone at the door.
A lady friend?
You could say that.
Well, I just did.
And it was.
We're not editing any of that stuff out.
Well, we'll pad the time. Anyway, match.
Wade Barrett looking 10 years younger, clean shaven. And, as mentioned, Cody Rhodes, no Brandy. However, he was wearing knee pads, so that was an improvement. They cut to a shot of the heel team on the floor, and Hunico is at least a foot shorter than everyone else on his team, so nice shot there. What do we got here? Babyface team, so Kofi Kingston is still being billed from Africa. And
From Ghana, with Prince Nana.
Right. Guess how many pay-per-view matches Mason Ryan had in WWE in 2011?
Just one.
He made 3 appearances. If you
Rumble Mania in here.
The Royal Rumble, Over the Limit, in which he tagged with CM Punk.
Was he not in the Nexus tag match at WrestleMania?
Nope. I don't believe so. Because that would have been 2010.
No, that would have been 2011 because it was Nexus versus the Core.
Okay, let's look this up. This is so important that we have to figure this out. Okay, so what do you say? WrestleMania
27.
WrestleMania 27. Let's look this up here.
Wikipedia, everybody.
Wikipedia. Joint promotion, event, aftermath, reception, results. James Dean O'Brien, Great Khali, Edge and Alberto, Cody. No, it was Big Show, Kane, Kofi, and Santino beating the core of Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett.
I was correct.
Okay, you were correct. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Oh, wait, that's in a few years.
So 2011 Royal Rumble, Over the Limit, tag team with Punk versus Big Show and Kane, and this show. And he's a dead ringer for Batista.
Welsh Batista.
Again, this crowd... Oh, hey Phil, my cat just made a run in. So, Dolph and Kofi start off. Kofi tags Orton. Orton hits the RKO on Ziggler and pins him less than 2 minutes into the match. So, good job. You know, the guy that had technically the best wrestling match on the show, you're rewarding him with a 2-minute hope spot in the Survivor Series match. And So Ziggler's night's done. And
they give him a win and then they bury him on the way out.
Hey, maybe that was Ziggler's choice. He's like, I'm tired. It's New York. I want to go party. Pin me in 2 minutes. Let me get the hell out of here.
Let me get the hell out of this town where they're cheering the guy that's not even in a match tonight.
So the heels are all flustered by this early elimination, and they do a football huddle, and they're doing strategy, and they're doing, a conference until Randy breaks it up. All the heels get sent to the floor. Sin Cara and Kofi do stereo dives. Well, Kofi did a dive. Whatever Sin Cara did, it was completely something else.
And he hurt himself and got eliminated.
He ran. I don't want to call it a dive. He ended up going chest first into the top rope. He then threw himself over and landed awkwardly, fucking up his knee in the process. And he'd be out for 6 months. So, sucks to be him. And that was a huge blow to the company at the time because they just had a ton of new Sin Cara merch that they were getting ready for Christmas. And with Rey Mysterio already out with an injury, this was another top merch seller that was going to be out. And, yeah, so he wasn't going to be back until May. I can't think of a bigger bust than Sin Cara for someone that came in with so much hype.
That's a good question.
At least, it would be the equivalent of, say, like if they signed Kenny Omega and then he came in and they did nothing with him or he injured himself or something like that. Because Sin Cara was that.
Or the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Or
someone
they re-signed Cody.
Because Sin Cara at the time was that level of star internationally.
Or maybe Hangman Page, who's finishing up with Ring of Honor.
So Sin Cara is eliminated. All 8 guys are just kind of standing around. They're not really sure what to do. This wasn't part of the script. There was probably a whole lot of spots that Sin Cara and Hunico still had to do. So the fact that they kind of held it together.
Awkward pause.
Yeah, they held it together and they improvised on the spot. So finally Orton and Cody try to bring this crowd back to life. Mason Ryan gets the tag and the crowd shits all over him. There's more we want Ryder chants. Kofi and Barrett hit double clothesline on each other. Hot tag again to Mason, and he toys around with Hunico, launches him over his head with a fallaway slam. Blind tag to Cody. Cody hits the disaster kick, and the Crossroads eliminates Mason at 8:52. Crowd is chanting for Cody. Orton and Sheamus look bewildered, not realizing what city they're in. They note that Sheamus has that Irish temper. If you're Irish, you can have that Irish temper. If you're from Mexico, they can say he has that Latin fire. If you're a white guy and you do this stuff, you're just a dick.
Yep.
Sheamus hits a bunch of clubbering forearms to Cody. Okay.
He's clubbering him, Tony. He's clubbering him.
Okay, so Sheamus does that, the 10...
The 10 beats of the something.
Something or other.
Yeah.
Did you get what Cole said? He calls this the transformation that gives him enhanced power according to Irish lore.
Which Irish lore would that be?
What the hell? Cole is so bad, and I completely forgot. This was in the start of the heel Michael Cole. Like, just regular Michael Cole is bad enough.
This is in the thick of that. The start of that was the Lawler feud earlier in the year.
So Cole is so bored with this match, he goes on a 2-minute rant about how awesome Shawn Michaels is at Survivor Series. Barrett kills Kofi with a running boot, and he hits the waistland, and he's eliminated at 14:06.
Yay.
Hunico hits a dive to the outside on Orton, sticking it to Sin Cara, showing him how it's supposed to be done. So it's now...
He flies through the air with the greatest of ease.
So it's now 4-2, advantage heels. Tag to Sheamus, goes nuts on Swagger. Sheamus hits a series of knee drops to Swagger's head, and it looked like he was really nailing this guy. So these are illegal knees to a downed opponent in UFC, according to the New York State Athletic Commission, and Sheamus doesn't break on 5, and the ref just disqualifies him. What a dummy.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's a different guy.
He got DQ'd for kicking too much ass.
But then Orton comes in and kicks the bones and scores the pin.
Yeah, so unless he just doesn't give a shit about Orton. So he just, because the two of them have had some matches too, so maybe he's still mad that, didn't he?
Orton beat him.
He beat him at a Royal Rumble one year.
He beat him for the world title the previous year.
So
if I'm
this was
remembering
his
correctly.
master plan. I'll show you
I'll get myself disqualified.
in a match that happened 11 months later. That's some long-term planning.
Yay!
So he throws a temper tantrum on being legitimately disqualified. I don't know why he's mad. He knew what he was doing. He hits a bro kick to Swagger on the way out, and Orton covers him for the elimination at 1933. There's a blind tag to Hunico. He attempts a springboard. You could see this coming a mile away. You could telegraph.
RKO out of midair. Oh wait, that's the wrong catchphrase.
So he eliminated Hunico at 21:38. Orton hits an RKO to Cody, and Barrett catches Orton with the wasteland for the elimination at 22 minutes and 10 seconds. So your survivors are Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes, and the crowd is loving Cody. So, and Cole says, well, since he's not been wearing his face mask, he's been better off. Like, yeah, that's how masks work. We cut to the back with Alberto trying to bag the Bella Twins.
Wait a minute. We didn't finish the match.
Yeah, we did.
Didn't we? Oh, Orton hits the RKO on Cody. Barrett hits the wasteland on Orton and gets the pin. And yes, Barrett and Cody won. And Barrett fades into obscurity, and Cody kind of gets pushed later on. And then he ends up as Stardust.
So Alberto is trying to double team the Bellas.
Or they're trying to double team him.
Hey, good for him.
Well, luckily, hopefully Cena O'Brien doesn't catch him.
After what I've seen, okay, well, my wife is a huge fan of Total Divas. And
oh, Jesus.
So, which means I watch Total Divas because it's on when it's in the room. Nikki is the most unlikable person ever. So,
Bree seems like the one I'd want to hang out with.
She's way more down to earth.
Nikki just seems unlikable and uncharismatic and everything else from everything I've seen of her on TV.
At the time, they were just two hot twins, and Vince wanted to give these women a lot of TV time. So,
or Johnny Ace did. Somebody did. It might have been Vince, it might have been Kevin Dunn, or it might have been Johnny Ace.
Yeah, so John Laurinaitis enters. He shoos the Bellas away to talk with Alberto, which I thought was pretty rude. Those are your future stepdaughters. And Johnny wants to make sure that Alberto is taking this title defense seriously. And Alberto says about 10,000 words, but basically just says yes. And he says CM Punk should be sleeping on the sideway on Wall Street.
A sideway?
A sideway. It's called pre-tapes. It's okay to do one. Don't do this shit live.
Watchmania, everybody.
And speaking of things that shouldn't be live,
The Big Show versus Mark Henry.
So this is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Mark Henry is the champ going in. They show the ring crew reinforcing the ring so that the two men don't break the ring. We've just had a match with 10 guys and a referee who all outweighed Show and Mark Henry, and the ring was fine. This didn't offend me. I thought it was just funny.
These guys are fat. They might break the ring again.
Even though we just had 2,000 pounds of wrestler in here
5 minutes ago.
So, it's a nice touch, for the stupid people that bought this, it was a nice thing for this feud. They did a replay of the finish of the last match these two had at Vengeance the previous month when Henry superplexed Big Show and the ring exploded as somber music played.
Oh, the Brock Lesnar Big Show finish.
So I completely forgot about this feud. I predict that it was terrible, and I was right.
I know I can beat Mark Henry. I don't have to face you because I lost with the title because I'm a heel.
My God, I wrote so many words for this.
He's a heel, motherfucker.
The Show comes out, and he lightly tugs on the ring post and the ropes to make sure it's secure. What a great, concise examination. He should be a home. He should be a home inspector.
He should be Tim Allen.
Both guys are just lumbering around, exchanging shoves. Henry runs at Show, and Show harnesses his inner Ricky Steamboat and does the world's slowest arm drags.
Big Show doing arm drags.
This match slows to a crawl. The crowd is getting even more restless. Henry tries to go to work on the ankle that Henry injured a few months ago. Nothing screams bathroom break like Mark Henry and Big Show doing mat work.
Maybe Kane and Big Show doing mat work.
It's like I'm watching Damian Maya and Rusamar Palhares trying to do mat wrestling.
Oh boy.
Big Show hits the world's fattest DDT for a 2 count.
Somewhere Jake Roberts. I used to win matches with that. And then I went and drank.
Booker says, Big Show is laboring. And so was I, and so was everyone else watching this.
I have to fast forward through this a little bit, I can't lie.
Crowd is now chanting for Daniel Bryan. Big Show calls for the choke slam, no one cares. Henry hits the world's strongest slam, and Big Show kicks out, no one cares. Henry hits a running splash, another 2 count. Henry hits a big running elbow for a 2. The crowd is booing with every kick out because it's just prolonging this match.
Yes.
They start entertaining themselves. They chant for Undertaker. They chant for, there was a chant for Colt Cabana.
Because this is Chicago.
Henry tries to get the count out because he had knocked Big Show through, he had knocked him on the floor and then did a running charge through the barricade. So both guys are lying in a heap. Henry tries to get the count out, but Show makes it back in at 8. Big Show then throws a super kick to Mark, which gets an HBK chant.
Super kick!
Show lumbers.
Oh, wait.
Big Show lumbers to the top rope, and Booker just says, "The hell?
The hell?"
Time stands still. Continents drifted apart, and that was still enough time.
The Dead Sea parted.
That was enough time for Big Show to land the biggest, fattest top rope elbow that I've ever seen. The crowd is finally alive. They start a Randy Savage chant.
They were expecting an earthquake after that.
You saw the guy in the front row with the earthquake sign?
There was?
Was this before or after he died?
Earthquake died in 2006. Macho Man died earlier that year.
It's not that I don't believe you. I'm just John Tenta.
June 11th, 06.
Okay. All right. Glad that investigative journalism is done.
You don't need Robert Stack for this unsolved mystery.
So Big Show swings for the big punch. Henry ducks and blatantly kicks the Show in the penis for the DQ.
Rochambeau, Big Show.
13 minutes and 4 seconds. This was fucking stupid. It was a waste of my life. Show wins
There's 13 minutes you won't get back.
Show wins by DQ. His music is still playing, and Show's just down selling his balls. Mark Henry goes and grabs a chair. He tries to Pillmanize the ankle. Show avoids it. Hits him with a big punch. More Daniel Bryan chants as no one gives a fuck about these two guys. Show puts the chair on Henry's ankle and drops a big leg on it to break
He broke it!
Why would he take an ass bump for this? Wouldn't just a big stomp be sufficient?
Gotta go that extra mile.
Booker says his leg fibula could be broken.
Thanks, Dusty.
His leg fibula. I have numerous fibulas in my body. I'm talking about the leg fibula. Not the shoulder fibula. We don't want to We don't want to confuse the orthopedic surgeon when he goes in to repair this. Mark Henry selling the pain while the trainers are attempting to brace his leg is the best thing about this segment. Hold on, stop, it's broke, stop or I'll punch you in the face.
From a laying down position.
We cut back to Matt Stryker interviewing Wade Barrett. Barrett, I believe, was
Matt Stryker's still employed.
But more importantly, Barrett looked like he was standing on about 7 phone books because he's at least 2 feet taller than Stryker. or they dug a hole and Stryker went to go stand in it. Barrett said, the Barrett barrage is unstoppable. He wants to be the first British world champion. He's interrupted by Miz and Truth. They jibber jabber. Barrett leaves. Miz and Truth bitch about not getting more attention. They're not on the side of New York City buses. They get the what treatment? Truth was the star of this.
Don't let me.
Truth was the star of this segment. Okay, let's try and reenact the conversation here.
Oh boy.
So, Truth. Okay, you are gonna play the role of Matt Stryker.
Oh boy.
Okay. I was talking to some pigeons, and do you know
What?
Do you know what the pigeons said to me?
Nothing. Pigeons don't talk.
Oh no, that wasn't the line.
What truth?
Stryker asked
What
him,
do John Cena and The Rock have in common with pigeons? They both crap.
I can't downplay this enough. The subtle pigeon sound that Matt Stryker made was it's the only funny thing Stryker's ever done in his career. And I laughed and laughed
Because
and laughed.
it's the only time he's ever had the chance to show personality.
And Miz is just trying to hold it together. He's looking stern off in the side. And you can hear the commentary. Someone in the headset went, they were laughing. I don't think they were supposed to. He says,
Damn it, Cole, don't laugh.
what did the pigeon say? And there's a brief pause. And Stryker takes the mic.
It's the old stuff.
I can't do pigeon sounds. Go back and
my
watch
God.
this, everybody. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh. That was the peak of my podcasting career right there.
It's all downhill from here.
That ranks up there with Ken Shamrock getting into the zone as he's walking down the steps of the Hart House.
I'm in the zone!
Semi-main event.
I'm about to get hit by a barbell plate!
We have Alberto Del Rio defending the WWE Championship against CM Punk. There's a video recap of Del Rio cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase at SummerSlam. Del Rio makes his entrance with Ricardo Rodriguez, and I always loved that part of the act. You know, it was something that made Del Rio stand out. I was sad when they broke those two guys apart because Ricardo was a terrible babyface.
Yes. And then he was he El Local?
Yes. Yeah,
You're a friendly local Mexican. El Local. I'm gonna go get beat by the Ascension now.
So, Punk has his own personal ring announcer, Howard Finkel. And I think
Yay!
Outside of Ryder and Rock, I think Fink got the next biggest pop from this crowd.
And got buried by Cole, which is always good to, Well, why is he here?
Fink kind of hesitated. He looked like maybe he was just a little out of practice.
Just a little. I haven't done this in years.
So he introduces Punk. Punk comes out, gives him a great big hug. We get chants for Colt Cabana. We get a chance of We Want Ice Cream.
Where are the ice cream bars?
He did want ice cream bars. That was part of his contract negotiation, and we never did get that. I wonder if he could sue Vince for that, for breach of contract.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing Vince has been sued for.
So Punk gets some early work, working over Del Rio's arm, and Alberto bails to the floor. Punk hits a tope to Del Rio on the outside. Ricardo gives Punk a cheap shot. Punk gives chase, and Del Rio nails him with a drop kick from inside the ring to the outside. Cole calls Del Rio a mixed martial arts expert. And I did some research. He actually has a winning record. He is, as a professional mixed martial artist, he has a record of 9-5. Okay, Cole wasn't lying. Drink?
Scotch? Oh, wait.
No, this is just good old Pepsi.
Okay.
Del Rio tries a running kick, but Punk moves, and Del Rio takes a spill to the floor. Punk with a running knee into the corner and bulldog combo for 2. Del Rio counters a GTS attempt with a backstabber. Del Rio then attempts a superplex. Punk eventually countered it. They were on that top rope for what seemed like ages. They send Del Rio to the mat, and Punk hits a top rope elbow for a 2, thus getting the second Randy Savage chant of the night. Del Rio was able to apply the cross arm breaker, but Punk makes the ropes. Punk, they go back and forth a little bit more. Punk then clamps on the Anaconda Vice. Del Rio tries clawing at Punk's eyes, and Del Rio taps at 17 minutes and 16 seconds.
Not bad.
So, yeah, we have a new champ. This was the start of Punk's, very famous
434-day reign.
434-day reign. Punk dives into the crowd a couple times to celebrate, much to the delight of the security staff at Madison Square Garden. I'm sure they appreciated that. We get a shot of Frank the Clown, who's in the front, who's in the crowd.
Vladimir?
I didn't see Vladimir. Was he there?
I was asking you.
No, I didn't see Vladimir. I didn't see ECW Hat Guy.
Well, they were not in Philly.
It's not that far.
It's the economy's bad.
He's like, no, I'm keeping this shit local. So, I don't know. I wasn't impressed with this match. I thought it was kind of boring. It was a lot of dead spots. There was quite a bit of stalling. I do like the fact that he gets the win with the Vice, because this is not a move that he was using an awful lot. In fact, they actually took it. He started using it early in his career, but they took it away from him. So now he's winning with this submission hold. So he's going to get this. He's going to get
only breaking out on special occasions like the Styles Clash.
Yep. So, yeah, not the best, world title match by any means, but this match wasn't meant to be the best match on the show, and it certainly wasn't, but it was the start of the era of Punk.
Yep. Main event time.
We get a video package hyping the main event. We hear Flo Rida for the 30th time on this show. Truth and Miz come out doing a tremendously bad heel rap. That was funny.
They were out of sync.
I don't know how many rap battles Miz has been in, but
probably none.
The Cena sucks chant is already starting. This man is just hated.
They love me here.
New York's finest. I will,
New York State's done his home.
I'll give Cena credit, and I'll give WWE credit. They learned their lesson in 2001 with Steve Austin, that just because, it's turning your top star a heel just for the sake of making them a heel isn't great business. Because when Austin did it, they lost out on all kinds of merch opportunities. They lost TV viewers, and despite everyone saying, "Oh, turn Cena heel," they didn't. And I think Cena was legitimately amused at a lot of the heat that he was getting in all these buildings, especially in the Northeast.
Right.
So Rock comes out to a giant ovation, as expected, about 6 years removed from his last match, and he's just jacked as ever. Rock and Miz start.
7 years. 7 years. WrestleMania 20. It was 04. This was 2011.
Right. So Rock comes out with some quick arm drags. He does the first ever Mahistral Cradle that he's ever performed in his life. And Miz bails. Rock had Truth pinned for about an 8 count with a fisherman butt suplex, but Cena had the ref distracted, and Rock and Cena just exchange glares. Miz wants Cena, so Rock reluctantly tags in. Cena with some more offense. Crowd is chanting, "You still suck." Cena proceeds to get beaten up for the next, 10, 12 minutes. Cena gets knocked to the floor. Truth yells, "Take that, little Jimmy." And a fan yells back, "Show those bitches who's boss."
I missed that.
I love New York crowds.
New York fans, everybody.
I started to fade during this match, so I should also mention that this show took me 2 sittings to get through. After the Big Show Mark Henry match, I closed my laptop. I left my office. I went to go watch TV with my wife. I watched 90 Day Fiancé for about 2 hours.
Oh, boy.
I needed to cleanse
You must get along with this person for 3 months.
I needed to cleanse my palate after watching Mark Henry and Big Show go 13 minutes.
Me a couple of sittings because I think I fell asleep during the elimination match.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
During this match, again, I started to fade, so I started checking football scores from yesterday.
Yeah.
Truth hits his dancing leg drop, and Booker T calls it pop locking and boogalooing. I don't know.
One of those things is not like the other.
I don't know what that means.
Pop locking is what? Isn't that a song? Pop lock and drop it or something?
I think it's a form of dance. It's some.
I don't know what boogalooing is though.
The only boogaloo I know was Homicide's old tag team partner in Ring of Honor in like.
I was gonna say yes. I was waiting for that reference. The Natural Born Sinners.
Cena hits an A on Truth, but Miz cuts off the tag to Rock. I then got distracted again. My wife sent me a text of a funny video clip from Conan O'Brien, so I stopped for 10 minutes to watch that. All right, back to the match. Truth misses a second leg drop, and apparently that broke his ass because he was down for a long time.
I broke my ass. What?
So finally, Cena makes the hot tag to Rock, and he goes nuts on both guys, as you would expect. Rock bottom on Truth, sharpshooter on Miz, but Truth breaks it up. Cena spears Truth to the floor. That would be the last time we'd see Truth in this match. Miz with some kicks to the Rock, and Miz runs right into Rock's spinebuster, people's elbow, pin, 21 minutes and 33 seconds. What'd you think of this main event?
It was a main event that happened.
Rock is celebrating in the ring. Cena starts to leave.
A forever long celebration. Rock is celebrating, and then Cena leaves, and then Rock is like, "You come back here," and Cena's like, "Nah, you go ahead." And they go for about 5 minutes, and then Cena finally comes back.
Yeah, so they jaw jack a little bit. They take turns standing on the turnbuckle. Crowd is cheering Rock, booing Cena. So the stage is set for WrestleMania 28. And then the parting shot is Cena turning to leave, Rock grabs him, hits the rock bottom, sends the people home happy.
John Cena's going to get his revenge at WrestleMania 28. You watch.
So
we will.
The only point of this show, I think, completely was to push the Mania main event. Miz and Truth, unfortunately, were just pawns in this story, and they could have used any two mid-level heels, and it would have accomplished the same thing. Although, Miz was put in the main event of TLC the next month.
And Truth got popped.
Truth got popped for a marijuana test a few weeks prior to this show, and because of the rules, depending on your status with the company, the rules for the marijuana drug test are different depending on who you are. So, Truth thought, well, I'm not being suspended right away, so they must not be punishing me. It's like, no, we'll let you work the pay-per-view because that's what we've advertised. And I think it was the next day on Raw, Miz turned on Truth, gave him the skull-crushing finale on the ramp, thus writing him off TV for 30 days and setting up his babyface return because apparently Vince saw a lot of potential in Little Jimmy merchandise.
That's our Truth and his imaginary friend.
So... According to the Observer Reader poll, this show got 80% thumbs up and 20% thumbs in the middle, and 0% thought it was a thumbs down show. And
I'd go with the 20%.
My only logic is that, this crowd came here to see The Rock. That's what they got. They went away happy. So this event was considered a success, even though the actual wrestling on this show was below the standards of most of the shows in this year.
Yes.
So this pay-per-view did 281,000 buys, which was up from 244 the previous year. And this event had the fourth most pay-per-view buys of 2011, but out of the big four, it came in fourth. So
WrestleMania probably had the most, as it did every year at that time, I imagine.
Mania was about 1.03 million. Royal Rumble, I believe, did about 440 some odd thousand, and then SummerSlam, and then this one. But it did beat every other, B-level pay-per-view, which I would hope it would do.
You would hope so.
Oh no, we got beat by bragging rights.
We got beat by Hell in a Cell.
Crowd wanted
champions.
Crowd wanted to see Punk win. They got it. Crowd wanted a Ryder. They
didn't get it.
They sort of got it. Crowd wanted to see Cody get some shine. They got that as well. So I think overall, these fans got exactly what they were expecting. So they were happy with this show.
Yeah.
Not a blowaway show by any means. The Rock Cena angle was basically the only thing that sold this show. So, if you're not a diehard, you don't need to go out of your way to see this show.
Nope. And I've got the next pick.
Now, okay, before you tell me what you've chosen, now, and you have not informed me yet of what we're viewing next time, but keep in mind, the last time it was your pick, you picked Halloween Havoc 1992, and I just about shut this whole thing down after that.
Well, we're staying in 92, but we're going with Survivor Series from that year.
You know what? I had actually considered that, because we did Halloween Havoc 1992 last time, and I thought maybe we should see what the opposition was doing at that same time frame. And
there's a lot going on going into this show with people leaving and the steroid trials about to start. Well, Vince getting sued by different people and, people leaving before their matches because of pay.
Changes to the main event. There were, changes because of the Saturday night's main event taping that happened a couple of weeks before that. There was, and even just the difference in production value is worlds different than what WCW.
From the Richfield, Ohio Coliseum, and here's what we have for your card. We have the Head Shrinkers against High Energy. We have the Nightstick match with the Big Boss Man and Nails. We have the Tonka.
Boss Man.
I'm gonna take that stick, and I'm gonna beat the living crap out of you, Boss Man.
And then I'm gonna sexually harass Vince.
Tatanka versus Rick Martel in a battle over feathers? What?
Spoiler alert.
Tatanka versus Rick Martel in a battle over feathers. We have Razor Ramon and Ric Flair against Randy Savage and someone making their return because someone else left. We have the pay-per-view debut of Yokozuna against Virgil. We have the
Wrestling
Undertaker
superstar
against
Virgil.
Yeah, whatever. The Undertaker against Kamala. We have your traditional elimination match. A coffin match.
Coffin match. My God, that was a terrible match.
Kamala is afraid of coffins, and then somehow we're going to turn him into a babyface after that because he's being abused by Kimchi. You're a man, not an animal. Thanks, Slick. You're a reverend, apparently.
Go bowling with Slick.
We're gonna kill two characters from the 80s with a bad gimmick.
We're killing listenership just as we speak. No one's gonna tune in.
We have the Nasty Boys and the Natural Disasters against Money Inc. and the Beverly Brothers, which is the whole Jimmy Hart turning on tag teams, which is the story of the tag team division in 92. And then we have the main event of Brett and Shawn for the title.
Yes, the newly crowned Intercontinental Champ Shawn trying to get the world title from Bret Hart. This was their first pay-per-view one-on-one match, I believe.
Yes, it was. And that's our show for next week, or whenever we do it.
How can let's get plugs in.
Yes. What do you got to plug?
I appeared with Peach Machine last week on the ComedySuplex.xyz, and we were discussing the WWE Evolution pay-per-view. So go check out Peach. He's been on our show, I've been on his, and we're probably going to be back with another one with him somewhere down the road. So go check out Peach Machine's podcast, ComedySuplex.xyz, and the Grappling Cooperative. And follow me on Twitter at RowanUnra. That's my plugs.
And then I don't have anything to plug because we didn't have an Impact Implosion last week because nobody ever called me.
Communication.
Yeah. But I will be going to Ring of Honor's Global Wars Tour on Wednesday, so I might be talking about that during the show next week.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to a local show on Friday, so I'll have some stuff to talk about outside of our show, our recap next week.
Sounds good. Well, that'll do it. For Mike Poulin, I'm Rowan Unruh. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you next week. New York!
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.